Hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and welcome back if you are already a subscriber. I hope everyone is off to a good year so far. In my timeline, we actually got a few snow days, which here in Georgia is incredibly rare, and even more rare is that it sticks around. So we've just kind of been enjoying that. It actually snowed even farther south than normal. So not only did I get snow, but my boyfriend got snow, which is where I'm filming from. So that is why you're like, what the heck? If you guys have been around for a while, this is definitely not my normal background. It is my background whenever I come over to Jeffrey's. It's like our, it's like the table at the end of the bed, whatever that is. And so I'm filming with one hand and going to do a flip through of my Hobonichi 5-year. But we are going to flip through June of 2024. I finally wrapped up those pages. So he is going to take a belated Christmas present to our neighbors, and I got a little bit of quiet in the house. So if he comes back, I'm super sorry. There might be a little bit of background noise, but we are going to try to get through this. Speaking of Jeff, on the very 1st of June, he committed to New Orleans for 2025. That was my judgy sticker. I was 1,000% judging. I had a lot of thoughts and doubts and concerns. I took him some treats for him and his brother to enjoy that night because I had just gotten off to my sourdough craziness, which we're going to see a lot of over the next few spreads. And I had made some sourdough chocolate chip cookies at this point. So I took him those, a sauce I had made, some meatballs I had made. But I love this like very judgmental judgy sticker thing. And then I had this like really pretty, I don't know what you can call it, like washi background sticker in my stash. And then this Saturday came from like a Maggie Helms book I had. As far as like this big open spot, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more when I get into the 2025 flip throughs, because I'm down to my like last year, and I've made it really clear I'm not really caught up in the weeds of like missing these big brackets. I really missed out a lot on 2022 for a lot of reasons, but I also have a lot of open space here. And I think I have a plan for what I want to put over on this side if it's blank, like to this degree. So we're going to see how that goes. On Sunday, I made my first sourdough loaf, forgot the salt. It was fine. It was edible. I did all of the week 5 Project Life, made stroganoff for Jeff and I, and finished the Turning Point series Atom Bomb in the Cold War. And then I think we started watching Dune 2 this day. And then I like this idea, like the highlighting words, like you kind of like have to highlight the section and then write over it, or else your Tombow or your pen will like smear. I wish I had left enough room for jam, and that would have made more sense. But I had my bread for the first time on this day, and I was really excited about that. I had strawberry jam and peanut butter on it. Finished Dune 2, and we ordered Johnny's Pizza because they have a Monday special. So nothing like too exciting to report there. This was me doing a nice long rant about work and the fact that I was really at this point starting to... This was probably about a month and a half after some big like work news happened with my boyfriend. And then we also hired someone like pretty much the first week of May. So I literally went from being, and if you guys have hung out for a while, then you've heard a good long whinge about this for a while, but I basically went from being alone 90, I wouldn't say 90, I'd say like a good 80% of the time I was alone, to an F ton of people around me. Like, and it was a lot, and I was really overwhelmed, and I was really concerned about, the new person working out, and she's still with our team. But yeah, I was like having some doubts and concerns, as someone that is not from this industry coming into it. And even though we all kind of had to start somewhere in this industry, I was just really concerned because we are incredibly detail oriented, and I was just worried at that point, more feeling overwhelmed and suffocated because, again, you know, So the way that my schedule worked, and again, if you guys have been around for a while, then you'll know. And I'm so sorry about the state of my nails. I'm trying to let them breathe. Like, there's some discoloration from the press-on glue I used. So I'm really just trying to let them breathe and it grow out a little bit. But my schedule was where I was remote on Wednesdays and Fridays. And then on Thursdays, I was pretty much alone in the office, and I might even be alone one of Monday or Tuesday or both sometimes. And then my boyfriend was at my house maybe 2 nights a week, and then I'd come out to his house on the weekends. Sorry, I'm going to like resituate a little bit. I am in some very interesting positions behind the camera to make this video happen. So I'm really sorry because I'm sure it's a little bit different than normal. But anyways, I went from that to literally having someone in my office with me every single day. And then I also wasn't getting remote days. Like I think I had like a month of no remote days, maybe, before I went back. I don't 100% remember now. Anyways, I added this World Environment Day sticker and this Save the World sticker from an event that happened on this day. So my apartment did a like gardening style event in honor of World Environment Day. And so I got free wine and free herb seeds. So I wasn't super upset about it. And it was a really productive day at work because I wanted to make sure that the next day was really clear so that I could pretty much spend the day just handling whatever. Wow, I'm so sorry. This is going to be a little... I hope no one gets seasick watching this video. I love this spread. So I really tried to be super productive on Thursday with work so that I could just take it as it came or really just have a light work day and get ready for the concert most of the day. So Jeff and I went and saw Tyler Childers this night. We went to Cheesecake Factory for happy hour beforehand, which if you've never done that, it's literally the best hack in the world. Go to happy hour with your significant other. Have an early dinner. You can order so much food for so cheap. Take a bunch home. It was great. We actually took a cooler to take all of our leftovers home with us. I like this sticker, and I like that I did this like a cross-stitch style. I will say that by shooting this handheld way, like I'm able to zoom in easier. This was my Pit wristband. So that was really nice, and I just washi taped that in there. This was the Saturday after, and honestly, okay, so I didn't talk about it in the little blurb, but like Jeff really didn't feel good. He had a chiropractic appointment that ran really, really late that day, and the adjustment ended up causing discomfort. So he was in a lot of pain through the show and through the night, but the next morning he was feeling so much better, and we slept in until the sun came up, which if you guys have hung out for a while, you will know I literally wake up around 4:30 every day. Like I'm up very, very early. I'm also in bed pretty early. So us staying up pretty late was outside of the norm. And we didn't have anything. We drank at the happy hour, but we didn't drink at the actual show. Just to save some money on Uber. Because we were just trying to be fiscally responsible around the date night time frame that this was. But the next morning we slept in. I made a big breakfast, including sourdough pancakes. I think this is a good place to put like my sourdough pancake recipe. I'm giving you a little hint about maybe what I'm doing with this side, and I didn't mean to. But I really like how that page turned out too. This was a really nice, peaceful, productive day, obviously. Jeff worked on the pontoon boat. I worked on, I think, daily pages for, I don't know if it says what month. No, it doesn't. So I think it might have been March daily pages. But you can see like all the stickers actually match. Some pages do, and some like have a cohesive theme, and some don't. This was really cute. There were, but it was like super simple kind of day. Sorry. And then this was, I spent the night at home, but at like 3:30 in the morning, there were these massive thunderstorms coming through. And I mean, that's kind of normal. And my cat is now almost 10. She'll be 10 this year. So she's been through plenty of thunderstorms. I've never heard her growl at thunder, and she was laying in the bed growling at it, and I just thought it was so cute and adorable, and I just gave her a nice little cuddle. And then Jeff had a good work meeting, so we went out for takeout that night, which is a little bit rare for us at the time. I tried a new workout. So this was the very first time I did the 12-3-30. So that's an incline of 12 at a pace of 3 for 30 minutes. And it's really freaking hard. And I've modified it to where I do 5 minutes at a pace of 3 at each incline going all the way up to 12. And then I challenge myself to stay at 12 for as long as I can. So I'm working on building more of an endurance than focusing on like this like long burn. It's more of like a slow burn. At the time I was talking about modifying it, which I later did. I finished Succession. So good. I loved Succession, and mainly because I loved the fact that I couldn't guess what was going to happen. And I know that, like, I don't know, I watch a lot of TV, so I'm really good at mystery shows, and I'm really good, I mean, I know that's not a mystery show, but I'm really good at, like, guessing the direction that something's going to go. And so to surprise me is really rare. I'm going to have to come off my knees again. Oh my gosh. So sorry. This is wobbly. This is definitely not normal. So, oh, this is an interesting view. But as you can also see from my pages, like some have a lot of stickers, some are just words. If you're new to 5-year, like enjoy the journey that it is. I think that's what's been really fun, is to see my handwriting change, my style of how I do pages change, penmanship, all that stuff. This was also the day that the TCMC washi pre-order designs were released. I think Jeff's back. I think. I'm really good at like hearing outside noises out here because it's normally really quiet. So you might hear the front door beep when he comes back in. I made my first batch of bagels here, and the house smelled so good, mainly from the honey boil that you do. It just smelled so good. It smelled like fresh bread and honey in the house. It was great. And I just really was excited to experiment. I was full bore into all of the sourdough things. We're back up on my knees. So I'm basically like on my knees at the foot of this bed at this little, like, what do you call it? There is a term for it. If you know, tell me down below in the comments. Of course, I'll Google it as soon as I get done here. But anyways, I was really excited to start experimenting with inclusions. We had our BCM compliance audit and it went fine. And we also made a Borzen TikTok pasta with spaghetti squash. It was okay. The concept was good. It just took forever. This was me being excited about Letha and planning recipes. Again, full bore into the sourdough life. So I was going to make some sourdough shortcake biscuits, which I did end up making, and they were so good. I was really into the idea of making a bunch of food because I thought we were going to go to camp that upcoming weekend. We didn't end up doing that. And I was just really like kind of missing my grandmother. That was going to be part of going to camp as a whole. We were going to go visit her and just hang out for a little bit and take her a bunch of fun goodies and also go to their family property. These are from a few years ago. These are from some baby birds that unfortunately didn't make it, but we tried to save them. I went to Tequila Mama's and got to see Katie and hang out. So Katie is who got me started on sourdough, and it was just lovely to talk to her about all the sourdough things and hang out. But it ended up being a location that was farther away from me than I thought it was going to be when I committed to it. Originally, I thought it was like a closer location, and I was like, yeah, we're going to this one, right? She was like, oh no, we're going to one that's farther away. And it was at like 5 o'clock traffic on a Friday. It took me forever to get there, and it was so hot because this is mid-June in Georgia. It was hot. But it was fun to spend some time with her. This was Father's Day weekend, so we actually had a family pool day with Jeff's dad, his brother, his nephew, his stepmom, the kid. It was a lot, and it was very awkward. I'm not going to get into all the weeds about that. but it was awkward. And I was just really concerned at that point. Like, it was really the first time we'd all been around each other since a lot of the stuff had gone down in their job. And so it was kind of awkward. And I felt like we were all kind of dancing around the topic and also trying to catch up a little bit. And I had some thoughts and feelings that I really couldn't share by being kind of like adjacent to the family. And it was just really awkward. And I felt like it was a really good indication of what it was going to be like on the beach trip, which it definitely was. It definitely was like the sign that the beach trip was not going to be calm, cool, and relaxing, which if you guys have hung out for a while, then you'll have heard me already talk about that. It was definitely not the relaxing beach adventure I had hoped for. This is me having probably a nice, lovely ramble about needing quiet journal time. Oh, okay. So I actually drove all the way to Pont City Market that morning to try a specialty donut that they only have for one day. And it so was not worth it. Because I don't understand why I can't seem to wrap my brain around the fact that I don't like their buttercream frosting. Like, I just don't. I love if they have a donut that's filled with like a batter, a curd, a jam, something, but it's just nasty to me, the buttercream. And I love buttercream and I love frosting, but can't get on board with it. So that was just not fun. And I was having a lot of stress about the upcoming Swanee Day, which says I didn't quit my job. It was a clusterfuck. It was an absolute clusterfuck. So the week before, we had explained to the new hire, like, okay, so when we go to Swanee, this is kind of what it's like. This is what to expect. Oh, and then there's this restaurant that we always order from. You're going to love that. Like, it was a whole conversation. Well, then we actually get there and my boss is like, oh, I brought my lunch. And we're like, we didn't, because we thought we were ordering food. So super awkward. And we really didn't have time to like go off site and get food as a replacement either. So it was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And I was very ready to leave, and I was very glad that will probably be my last Swanee Day for a while. I put the wrong entry in the wrong spot, so I had to throw a little white out in there and then stamp down 2024 and then go ahead and white out where 2025 is going to go. Not a great day. I got some applications dumped on me unexpectedly because I didn't end up doing different apps. Like, it was kind of like, so the day that I was in Swanee, I was supposed to do some other applications. And the thought process then became, oh, well, since you didn't do those, you can do these. And it was not like, it was like an apples to oranges switch, not an apples to apples switch. So it was very frustrating. And again, I was just really like losing my patience at this point, because I'm now going on, at this point, 2 months with a lot of lost privacy and alone time. And I need that. Like, I am definitely like a person that needs my alone time. I really want to color these in. Wait, I think there's more. Is it just those two? These are like the little rotating things from Inside Out. And this is from when I watched the first Inside Out. And I'd love to make a whole spread of that and watch Inside Out 2 maybe on that day, if I haven't watched it at that point yet. But yeah, I was just having like a lot of frustration with just the work-life balance and the workflow balance. There was a lot going on with that. I had some garden pests. So after a very frustrating 2 days, I decided to treat myself to ordering my Coffee Monster Co. pre-order. I got a new raspberry plant for my mom. This was Juneteenth. So I was actually off for the day, and I went to my mom's and got that. By the way, if there's like a product or something that you're like, oh, I really like that sticker, because I know we're looking back at previous years and I'm not always talking about, the product, or it may not be super obvious. A lot of stuff is just from my stash, but if there's a particular product and you're like, oh, I really like that, let me know. And I'm happy to let you know what it is in the comments. Like, just shoot me a comment and I'll tell you if I know where it came from. The next day was Letha, and even though I had a very full work day, I lost my mind and decided I would cook this massive Letha meal. So Letha is one of the Sabbats. This is the summer solstice as well, so this is also the first day of summer, which was very exciting. And I made a lot of food, and Jeff was so patient with me because there were some wins and some losses in that. So it was really, 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 really funny because I accidentally messed up the garlic pull-apart bread and put too much salt in it instead of garlic powder. It was an honest mistake. I thought the container was garlic powder and didn't look, and it was a mess. It was like an inedible mess. But the shortcake biscuits turned out good. The whipped cream took forever to make. It was so funny. It was just like ups and downs and just so many sinks of dishes, and he really helped out. The next day, I literally spent the entire day working on New Orleans Project Life pages and watching New Orleans movies. So like Princess and the Frog, and I think I watched Haunted Mansion. The next one, I turned into a couch potato. Oh, it was an accidental couch potato. So I had done all of that filming, and now I was trying to like do the voiceovers and export and all of that, and my phone kept telling me it was full, and I kept trying to like offload tons and tons of stuff off of it, and it like wasn't registering that I was taking things off of it. So it was a big mess, and in the meantime, I was watching The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. We went to his dad and stepmom's lake property for the first time. It was the first time for me. Again, y'all, it's June and it's in Georgia. It's hot. It's so uncomfortably hot. And this was not like a well air-conditioned lake house situation. Like, this was hot. It was uncomfortable. We grilled, and then we ate, and then we were more hot, and I was just so uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable and ready to come home. The next day, and I hate that, like, if you look really close, my pen was having like a lot of issues. Like, it was bouncing pretty much from here until the last page because I was trying to use a different pen that was like almost out of ink, and I didn't know it was almost out of ink. But this was my first day wearing my Doc Martens that I wear all the time, and I love them. They're like a vintage floral, and I bought them to go with my Gothic princess dress for Halloween Horror Nights. And planning my 2025 garden already, mainly because like by the summertime, like everything's starting to kind of like come up, but you're also starting to run into like a lot of pests and things dying, and you're like realizing what you don't like or what didn't work. So you start kind of thinking ahead. So that was a lot of that. I was getting really impatient. Again, just lack of alone time. Like, I'm one of those people, like, even at just like a few hours every couple days will do me. But as long as I feel like I'm on top of my stuff, and at this time frame, like, my work-life balance was bad. It was so bad, and things were stacking up at the house. I was starting to get behind on content in some cases, which just makes me crazy. Like, if I don't have like just that, really, I just need enough time to like get a daily page done. Update my planners, like maybe do like the topical household cleaning. Like, I'm not talking about like I need a whole like 5-day weekend, not really, or like a whole day sometimes, but like it would just stack up and make me really crazy. So I was just definitely like in my feelings at this point. All right, we're gonna come off my knees a little bit. Oh my God, they hurt so bad, and my hips too. So I'm sorry. We're gonna be wobbly for a minute. Oh, this is hurting. Ooh-wee. Okay, let's see what else was happening that day. And we started watching the new season of The Boys. Okay. This is a sneak peek at what so here, I was going to say that I would tell you guys when we started going through the 2025 spreads, but this is what I'm thinking of to do for the pages that are kind of blank on this side is using it as like a recipe place. And I really love how this one turned out. That's for the barley and sage sourdough banana bread, chocolate chip banana bread that I made on this day. And so that is the picture of that. But I really like how that turned out. I thought that was really, really cool. So yeah. Oh, and I was making vanilla wafers for a banana pudding. So everything was bananas at that point in time. And I was really excited because I'm clearly really excited about a lot of things. I'm going to have to find like a better description, of something, and my hand's starting to cramp. Oh, we're going through it, you guys. I hope you guys can still see and that this is okay. And I'm so sorry, because this is definitely not the way I normally film, but I'm just trying to do the best I can and get an upload up for you guys today while I'm out here. But, I was very excited to make this banana pudding because I made the wafers from scratch, the pudding from scratch, the whipped cream from scratch. The only thing I didn't do from scratch is the banana, because I can't make a banana from scratch. But it was massive. It was absolutely massive. And this day, I had a teeny tiny little lazy helper. I realized I had a bee, and he was so cute, but he would like fall asleep, and I didn't even know they would do that. It was like he was pollen drunk or something. He'd be covered. I thought he was dead. Multiple times thought he was dead. But he was just so cute, and he would just buzz around, do his job, and I'd find him asleep. It was just the cutest thing in the whole world. So I was really happy about that. Continued watching Regime at this point in time. I've got to like pay attention to what I'm filming instead of reading the page. Oh, back up here because I can't read otherwise. Oh, I did a long 3-mile run, and this was the first time I had done a longer run and not been in pain. I went through a really bad period of time where I basically didn't understand, this is going to sound so dumb. I'm not really good at stretching, so I don't tend to stretch, but I also really don't love weights and things, so I wasn't strength training my hip and then just going on these really long runs. So I wasn't building up strength or endurance or anything. I just wasn't preparing myself very well. And I ended up injuring my hip. And I ended up talking to a physical therapist by accident in the gym one day because I had switched over to the elliptical and lighter impact. And he was like, oh, you can totally go back to running. You just need to do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, what? And started doing X, Y, and Z, and ta-da! So I was just really, really excited about that. It wasn't a great remote day. Again, this was in the phase where remote days were often webinars, phone calls, check-ins, all these things would end up getting scheduled on my remote days. So it's like I didn't have the flexibility and freedom and the beauty of a remote day when I was remote, which was making me, you guessed it, more irritable. Not great. Let's see. This is when I made the vanilla wafers for the pudding. What was happening here then? Oh, I got all the ingredients for the pudding. I knew I had said something about the pudding. And then I don't have a picture of the pudding, but I did make it for this kind of super fun family day that we had where, and look at how cute little baby Tanner and me, but baby Tanner gave Jeffrey baby fever. And so there was a lot of discussion about babies that day, but that was also the day of the big banana pudding, which was so lovely. And the kids were completely insane. And then what happened? A rare, balanced, productive day, which was nice. And probably what I needed. And I watched Armageddon Time, which was kind of like, was like supplemental watching to Succession because, what's his name? Jeremy Strong? Yes, Jeremy Strong is in Armageddon Time. And even though he doesn't have like a very big pronounced role, I think it was a fantastic film to recommend for that time frame. If you guys listen to the Roycast, then you would understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, the podcast that I was listening to while I listened to Succession or watched Succession recommended it along with the game, oh my God, if you like Succession and haven't seen the game, that's mind-boggling, and definitely you need to watch it. You're gonna clock so many parallels and things. It's so good. And another thing I would recommend is Disney War. I'm in the process of reading it now, but if you watch Succession and you're reading Disney War or read it, you will totally see where they pulled stuff. And it's just really cool. I really enjoyed the series. I really have enjoyed the recommended watching as well. So that's where I'm going to end it. I know this was weird and rambly and super different, and I hope that you all didn't get seasick, but I hope that this gave you some really cool ideas if you're new to Hobonichi 5 years. As I've said in previous videos, there's not a ton of content on these, so I really am going to strive to do flip throughs when I can and as I complete months of my own. So until the next video, enjoy creating your own little winter wonderlands. Bye, everyone.